Hello, everyone. So after 361 days, the mission is complete. I got the filter out. So now I've opened the door for possibilities for my village to stay alive. So now I wanted to create and give you the lessons, the takeaways from this journey. Because there is no growth without any reflection. So this is going to be absolutely at no cost to you. However, I want you to promise me one thing as you listen to this, take notes, and don't just acquire the knowledge. Be ready to walk your own path. But without further ado, for those people who know me, my name is Carlos. And for those who don't know me, call me CJ. It's all right. That's what the internet likes to call me. For those who don't know my story, that was what I looked like at 3 weeks old. I should be dead. Not just there, but also when I had a breathing machine at 5 and 6. We don't have photos from there. Those photos are long gone. I don't really have them in my memory storage. And then the third time, this was the time when I used to live in my parents' village. This was for a year or two. And sure, it's actually a decent life there. There is family-centric values. We give ourselves up to God. That is one of the best things that any kid can have and be given the ropes of hardship and learning how to use the resources. I think that is what has allowed me to get to places such as the Walt Disney Concert Hall to be able to perform and have the time there. And the most recently, if you know, the water filter. I'm not going to click the videos specifically. I will let you do that. I'll put the link to the slides in the description below because this isn't the time to be posting about videos, but the point is some people do get a worse start to life, but life can be grand. Sometimes it is written. Sometimes God said, I want this person to be given a journey of a lifetime where you must face death. And it's a very painful one. But knowing that has at least for me has broken any limits. And I like to believe that I have a moral obligation as a walking miracle to face any obstacle that I decide to encounter and give as much value as I can to an audience that has faith and trust in me. So, and because of that, we are here. So here are my lessons from the past 361 days and from the obstacles that I had to face in my past from a guy who shouldn't be even making this video in the first place. And note, I'm kind of a bit biased too because of past experiences. So I know that there are certain things that I hold truth and that I would never break. And if I have broken them, I have punished myself for it because that is not the best way to live without any compass, a moral compass. So those are my two biggest biases. Also, I don't know if the I what are they called, the personality types. I don't know if that really matters, but whatever. So have fun, take your notes, and let me know what was the most impactful to you. And I hope that this inspires you to push through on your mission or start the new one or continue on the one that you want. It's not too late. Rule number one of life, to be honest, this isn't just a random rule. This is, for to be honest, the golden rule. One of the golden rules of life is just use what you got. I thought that I remember the Google Sheets that I had when I was starting to make this out. I thought I needed a laboratory and 18 grand. But with what I made, I only had 450 bucks. I had a network of people, top class people, a laptop, and You know, big dick, big dick energy, a lot of testosterone. I knew I had a tons of fuel, and that's how I pulled it off. You don't really need that much, to be honest. For example, if you wanted to make money, you can use your phone. You can find places. You just need to connect with people that have the value, that have the knowledge that you definitely need. Because, and this is the reason why I use what you got, because what you do not pay with what you have. If you don't pay with clarity on the access of resources that you have, if you don't pay with clarity, you are going to pay with valuable resources like your time or your attention or maybe even people. It depends what you value more. I value the latter more than the former. So that is why I looked for clarity into how do I use what I have and create something, turn nothing into something. So it is just a mind thing. You don't really need that much. You just need to know how to use the things that you have. If you have access to people, you need to get clarity on how to do that. Number 2, well, be quick, have momentum, speed, because that is one of the most important things. People say that you need to do a lot of reps in whatever you're doing, but you also need to get feedback. Cool, or put a lot of time into it. Fine, but the other key is this feedback loop, the cycle feedback, the iteration. That's what speed is. You're able to get reps in quickly, but they're not shit. So when you go to the gym, for example, you don't just do the curls like this, like cross country curls. You do them well, but you try and get the muscles to fatigue quickly than others. That is what this speed is, for example, because speed can make up for what people lack in terms of intelligence or being smart. And the way I define smart here is it's like potential energy to create something or get a victory point. And victory point, as in, you'll find out later what victory point is. But being smart is just basically you have the potential to create something meaningful depending on whatever you find is meaningful. But I'm not really that smart. I'm just quick. I have speed, and the reason why is because all I did was write a post-it, which is literally in front of me. And it says, potential starter company, create aerogel that allows fluid to pass through the aerogel without damaging the structure, which is what eventually came out of it. It was just that post-it, and then I stuck with the water filter plan for 3 years. I still remember the day I wrote that because I have my old journals right next to me to the right. And I stuck with it with 3 years, and even though momentum isn't all, but it's the thing that most people forget that exists. That is the missing piece. But if you want the entire equation, that will come up soon. But number 3, which is also another rule to life, to be honest, the pain of whatever is a stronger motivator than the desire to help. Because I'm literally surrounded by a network of people who want to help the world. But you're not really going to do that much if you just want to help. If there's a pain, if you have faced X problem, you will feel a moral duty and a moral obligation to complete it. Because if you have faced through it and you got out to the other side, there's just something that stays with you and you want to fix it because now you have access to the resources that those people did not have. Because right now in San Jose del Progreso, that village is torn in half because there is half of the village doesn't have any clean water after what happened with this mining company that from Canada. It was Fortuna Silver Mines, to be exact. And now what's happening with Iran and Afghanistan at the border for water. But because I have that story, that is part of a small sliver of my identity, it is the reason why I made this in the first place. To be honest, had I not have had the life I had, I probably would not do this because there is no better fuel to keep you going during those hard times than the suffering that you went through and not being able to fix it. Trust me. I'll give you one more example. let's stick with one. Let's say you were a kid who threw away their alkaline water down the faucet because you thought it tasted like crap, and then now all of a sudden you want to help. Cool, there's nothing wrong with there. But if you have a kid who from Dhaka in Bangladesh who had arsenic in the water, and you gave them the tools that, let's say, MIT has, and you gave them the place there, I am willing to bet that this guy, if you told him that if he doesn't do anything, his family will perish, his family bloodline will perish. He will do more, be quick, and make it faster than the person who wants to do it, just because. That is, to be honest, a rule of life. Pain is more powerful than desire or wanting. And here's the rest of the equation. This is the equation that most people have never listened to me, but I feel that now after completing this, the words have heavier weight. So I will repeat it again. Volume times attention times speed is the development of skill and success. That's literally it. I am not a special kid. I am not, that smart. I just remember I wrote a post-it and here we go. We ended up here. Why? Because I put the reps in to learn the knowledge. And I looked for where to get the reps in. So it's kind of like, wait, if you go to a YMCA gym, sure, you may get, like maybe 80-pound dumbbells and some machines, cool. But if you need to work on specific things, you might want to get a LA Fitness, something like that. And it's the same thing with people. You can get access to textbooks and whatnot. That's kind of, your YMCA gym. But if you want those top class people, yes, you do need to have some competence to get access to them. But just being able to get to them, you can really tone in on things. Those are reps. And then attention is focus. Where is your focus diverted into in whatever the task you are doing? Is it on, let's say, marketing, or is it the product or whatever? But to be honest, product is everything once you have found clarity, and clarity, at least in deep tech, is the problem that you're trying to solve. So once you have found clarity, now using that definition, which is the problem you're trying to solve, once you have found clarity, product is everything. And then it's speed. Speed is just the iteration, the momentum that you carry. Because if your speed, like if your momentum isn't really going there, as if you're not showing up, it could equal zero, and all that equation just ends up to zero. So you're not developing any skill. And that's also with iterations. How many times do you iterate quickly? So to be honest, that is the magic formula to life. But if you don't like volume times attention times speed, you can say reps times focus times iteration, whatever. But that's the golden formula, to be honest. I don't know how the way to put it to you, but that's, if you want to win the game, there's your magic formula. If you don't want to pill. Anyways, going on, following with the next point, you need to find clarity first in whatever you're doing. Then once you find it, then go intense, which is the speed. And then the discipline, which is the volume times attention. To be honest, clarity is the attention or the focus. And then intensity is speed or momentum. And then discipline is the volume or the reps. But that's how it goes first. Most people are lost in life. You need to find the reason for the reason why you are doing it and what you are doing it for. What's the end goal? What's the success defined to you? That's basically all that is clarity. And once you have found it, now you can be like a laser. You're a laser being focused on one specific thing, creating to an endpoint. That is when you go full intense, because when the laser is focused on one point, boy, that laser is hell intense. That light is intense. But once you do that, you must stay the course. Because I like this quote from this TED Talk by Master Shi Heng Yi, who said, there are two mistakes on the way to mastery: not starting, which is the hardest, and not going all the way. That's where discipline comes in. How do you build discipline? To be honest, this isn't the best video to do that. I might need to make a separate one on that, but that is the way to go. Now, speaking of money, this is more about people, to be honest, because while yes, there is money needed in this, the only currency that matters in this game is trust. Trust is the most powerful currency that has ever been made in human history. And to be honest, everyone talks about, oh, you got to trust yourself and all that, trust others, whatnot. But to be honest, everyone forgets about it, and it's not even taught that well, not even by really good people. And I don't know, maybe it's because I always think of the person first instead of logically. Maybe that's why I say it. But to learn how to build trust, to learn how to play the game of trust and internalize the movements of how to get people to help you, to influence and whatever. I think that is one of the best ways to do it. If you want to learn how to play that game of trust, to be honest, the two books, well, the only book I would really suggest, because I read it almost every day, is How to Win Friends and Influence People, both the original and in the digital age, because I want to also learn the tools of the modern game. That, to be honest, is the best way to start out. But trust is the greatest currency ever made between humans. It is the reason why we have cities. It's the reason why you have friends, you have family. It's the reason why you believe in me. Believe in me, even though I probably have never talked to you in your life. And maybe if I have, you know that whatever game I play, I will win it if you give me enough time or a long attention frame. And second, I know I mentioned volume in terms of reps, but it's better to be more, it's better to have a high intensity reps than a lot of volume. So the example would be, let's say we both have two people. They're both, I don't know, let's say they're both like me, 5'5", 130 pounds, whatever. And let's say we're warming up with 135-pound squat. We could do, one person does 10 by 10. The other person does 2 by 50. So 10 sets of 10, and then the other one, 2 sets of 50. Same amount of reps, same weight, same dude, same size. But one's not going to get up in the morning. And that's the one who did it more intense. The guy's not getting a break, but he's doing a lot more damage in terms of good damage and hypertrophy to his legs. And he is training them to become more powerful and more stronger. But because he was able to pull off those iteration cycles. That's not necessarily of iteration, but that is more of being able to do so much amount of work compressed into less amount of time. And that's kind of why people, especially if you think of some people who speak as if they're very wise or if they know a lot, it's because they have done the intensity where they have compressed so much of these reps into a certain amount of time, even smaller than what most people would tend to do, which is like 10 by 10. The 2 by 50, he will tell you it's pain, but he or she will make it into something that sounds as if it came from the depths of wisdom. To be honest, that's how it is. So if you can, actually you must, at the beginning, you must be more intensity over volume, because you don't know a lot, so you need to be more intense. So cram as much as you can in. 8, don't save all the fucking children, guys. But if one kid out of 100 million who goes through a struggle feels it and relates to that, great. That's not me, that was Eminem, but that's true. Don't try and save the entire world, please, because when you try, and I'm just talking from experience here, just from this filter, I only really tried making it for Jugas a no ser progreso. That's basically it. But then I got a couple messages from people who did article reviews. I think there's still one that's public on Medium, but it was the dude from India. His name was like Aqua Professor, and he made an entire review on it. And I didn't know that people from this place called Gangnoti in India, they wanted it. And then I get from Espinar, Peru, and then I think it was like some other, it was weird village in Bangladesh, but I keep forgetting that it's hard to pronounce. But I was only trying to help one person, and somehow 10,000 other people decided to raise their hand and say, you know what, this could probably help us somewhere in the future, or maybe even now. So this is just from personal experience, but to be honest, if you try and help 10,000 people, you only really help one. But if you only try and focus all your core attention into one person, you might find out that 10,000 people need you. And here's a trick that I would suggest to you guys. And this is something that I still have right here in front of me. But basically what I did was, I remember one time where I was working on Notion templates, and I wrote to here on this post right here. I said, I will prove to this person, I'm not going to say their name, but I will prove to this person that my thing, or that the product, which was my Notion templates, are the key to whatever their problem was. And everything that you do, every tweak, every edit, every tweet, every post is just to help this one person out. And sooner or later, you'll find out that maybe 500 or 1,000 more will actually need it. So use that framework. I will prove to a specific name, or a person, that your product is the key, or yeah, is the key to what their biggest pain point is. And you'll sooner find out that there may be hundreds of people who will need it. And that's the exercise that I did. If you're looking for the post specifically, it's behind here, but if I remember correctly, I said I will show to a Jugo de Crespo that this filter will allow them to attach to your pipas and be able to purify your water without the need to go spend 30 minutes an hour out of the house and increase the under 5 mortality rate, because that's one of the biggest issues. Is the longer you are out of home, you're increasing the mortality of children if they don't have clean water. So be careful there. But definitely not the time to talk about that right now. Anyways, and yeah, my ideas are bullshit. They're worth absolutely nothing, because they're ideas. Everyone has ideas, so they're worth $0. It's only until you put the equation I put, which was volume times attention times speed. Once you put it out and once you make something out of it, then now you have the right to say it's mine. Because who the fuck patents ideas? Like, even phrases like "who's your daddy?" that was patented, but that was after it volume attention times speed, and it became something worth. So it's the same thing. Until you make it, you don't own it, and until I don't see it, it didn't happen. That's literally another rule to life. Is just know that nothing is valuable until it has been made, and until people literally ask for you about it. So yeah, don't get too hot-headed on your ideas. They're worth 0 until you make something. 10, you're probably going to fall into the productivity trap when you're doing this, because yes, deep tech, it's hard. There's long R&D cycles, there's unpredictability in your results, and it gets frustrating. I get you, but that doesn't mean you need to go Mr. Notion porn type of dude or gal, whoever's listening to this. What I mean is this: you're probably going to start off with a journal, which I don't know where my journal went, but okay. And then you're probably going to do something like Google Calendar, Google Sheets, something like that. Or at least that's what I did. And then I went to like a Notion template plus plus Sheets plus Calendar and daily update and all that. And then that was at the middle. And then as I got closer to the end, I just dumbed it down to literally Post-its. That's what I use now, Post-its. And then if I really need to think something out, I write it in my journal for like long reflections. If it's short reflection, I just use my phone, and summarize in 1 or 2 sentences. But this is literally what I use every day. Right before I go to bed, I write what I need to get done. You're probably going to go through that same cycle where you'll start off at basically almost nothing, to then you're just, with like 50 productivity apps for, I don't know, helping you with your eyesight and shit. The fuck, no. You're probably going to have like an Apple, like a timer or something. You're cringe. You're cringe in the middle. And then as you get to the end, you realize, no, it's just all in the mind. It's just all in the mind. All you need to do is just show up, do the work. Don't try and do things that don't actually get the stuff that you need to actually, do get done. Yeah, planning's fun, but doing stuff is a little bit better. I don't like writing, but I like having written. I don't like doing, but I like having done. So better to have done than be doing. 11, be a selfish bitch, because it's your life. So live it the way you want to. I'm gonna give you the airplane analogy. The masks when they come down, in case if there's like a pressure and oxygen or something in the cabin. They tell you to put it first, because here's why. How are you going to help others if you can't help yourself? Because one of my past tendencies was to make other people's problems my problems, especially if you are an ENFJ. Maybe you might relate to that. You might make some other people's problems your problems, and you may overthink of that. I'm here to tell you, I went through that. That was not a healthy time of my life, and that was during these 361 days. That wasn't good either. I'm really making that progress that much as well. But because good mentors, thank you Naveen, thank you Raj, helped me snap out of it. So I was just be careful of where you give, not be cautious, but prioritize who you're going to give it to. And the person number one should be yourself. Once you have satisfied those needs, then figure out who, in order of prioritization, who deserves my resources. And that could be financial resources, your attention, or whatever. But the number one person you should be putting into your resources, if you're a teenager like me, or if you're a college student, yourself. And then figure out who's next. All right? Because the more you put into yourself, you will be able to give more as you get older. Sure, this filter was okay. For do that these days, this is not that bad. But who knows what I can create more the more I put into myself. I can reap more rewards for the world, and also for myself. Be selfish. 12. Attention is more important than time. And here's the way I look at it. Time isn't really time in terms of like this metaphorical, metaphysical sense doesn't really exist. It's where people say, "Oh, I don't have time," or "I'm running out of time," and shit. Like, no, you're running out of attention. That's what you are, because you probably put your attention onto scrolling on the YouTube sidebar, or you're probably doing something else. You're probably stretching, or you're running or something while you're listening to this. So you're multi-focusing, you're multi-attentioning, fucking yourself. So it's not that you don't have time for this. It's because you don't prioritize your attention to this. You're paying attention to me in exchange for for perceived value. And maybe this is actual value to you. Or maybe you're just bored, whatever. Or maybe you want to fill your brain with knowledge because you're bored and you don't like boredom. Fine, whatever. But time doesn't really care about you, doesn't call you, doesn't text you. And plus, I got 24 hours just like you, so it doesn't matter. So time is constant, but attention isn't, because whatever I put my attention to, it may reap more rewards than whatever you put attention to. For example, the dude who games 6 hours a day versus the dude who, I don't know, writes 100K a month newsletter. Same time, it's constant, but the attention of where we put it to and the reap of rewards, that's different. That's why attention is worth more than time, because leverage is the answer. So it's not really time, it's your attention. That's why I never put in that equation time, because time in the sense of building things doesn't exist. All right, next. These are your life's assets when you're building stuff. Bronze is time. This is in the physical sense. It makes sense in some sense in these cases, but not really. Silver is your choices. Your choices do shape what you become. So if you're wondering why you are not where you are, well, you got what you deserved, because that's what your choices gave you. And the gold medal of choices is your attention. Because wherever you put your attention to, that will develop the habits, and that will eventually develop the choices, and that's where your time goes, if you like to think of it in the old-fashioned way. But yeah, you get the leverage of whatever you put your attention to. So keep that in mind when it comes with time and attention. I used to think it was choices first, but you can't make choices if there isn't no source. So pick your sources of attention wisely, because they all have different types of leverage. I'm not saying none of them are wrong. It's just saying that some of them get you higher leverage than others, and depending what you want, cool. If you like listening to, if you want to be a music artist, fine. Then you got to put your attention to stuff that contributes to that. If you're putting it on other stuff, no. So those are just the ways to look at it. But those are your MVP assets, most valuable player assets. 14. If it can't make you money, you don't have a good problem. So this is a little bit of business that I learned from one of my mentors. He said this: market first, then your offer, then your traffic. Most people do it the other way around. They first try and distribute, then they fix their offer, and then they go find a market. That's not how it works. You need to find who needs this, what is their pain points and whatnot. Because, for example, somebody who wants a ghostwriter, for example, they don't really want ghostwriting. They don't want what you do, but they don't want the product. They want to fix their pain point. And let's say that their pain point is, I want to monetize my followers on Twitter. Fine. But the ghostwriting is just it's like the train to get to the final station. Well, they don't care what train they get on. They just want to get to the final station, to the station that you get off on. So that's what market is. So the filter is the offer. The filter was never the answer. It's just the offer to fix their market or the pain point of X market, which is, I want water because I don't want to die. But that's kind of easy, because when it's easy to clarify a pain point to something that everyone needs, But if it's something a little bit more complicated than a necessity like food or water or air, those require their own needs. And then traffic is also how do we share this? How do people like to be shared? Do they like word of mouth, which is probably the best way of marketing, to be honest. Word of mouth, or is it in newspapers, or is it billboards, or is it Facebook ads? It depends. And also depends on the target market. The more specific the target market, conquer that pond, and then you can grow it bigger and bigger. So that's also that's just basic lessons 101. But basically, if you can't make money off of it, then you probably don't have a good problem, or something's wrong. Most likely it's your market. And if that's not it, then the offer that you're giving these people isn't what they're looking for. And if you don't really get the money off of that, then it's probably because you don't have the right network, or you don't have the right sources to get to these people. But definitely market is the biggest problem. So that's basic 101. You want to learn more? Join TCast. Then you can message me. Have fun. 15. And the last one of part 1 is be honest. Be honest about everything, because it saved a lot of people headaches. And at least for me, this one cost me a friendship. So be honest from the start. And although it does feel a bit bad, however, for the better of humanity, if that's the price I must pay, that's okay. But be honest from the start. Tell them everything. Whenever something goes wrong, don't try and fix it yourself. Tell them, hey, I might need help on this. Shit might hit the fan. So, also another golden rule to life. So take notes on this. Take action on this. I don't want you clicking on part 2 of this video and just thinking, okay, right, we can continue. Take action on this. And once you have taken action in a minuscule way or a large way in your life, or at least implement it into your life right now, then continue to part 2. But for now, I'll catch you.